and the day before yesterday we worked on isosceles triangles and equilateral triangles. Yesterday and the day before, I guess. So isosceles triangle, you had two. Was there an extra note sheet, or did I count just enough?
I think just.
Okay. Let me hand that back to Justin. Okay, so today we're going to move on to more congruency. So, first of all, when we talked about isosceles, I had two sides that were congruent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the angles opposite those sides were congruent. So you made a big X and they hit, right? And then we had angle bisectors. What was an angle bisector? What is a bisector? What does it mean?
When a triangle is cut exactly in half.
When an angle's cut exactly in half, okay? And a perpendicular bisector cut an angle in half, but what did I know about how it hit the side? A right angle, because that's a perpendicular, right? So on an isosceles triangle, it makes two congruent triangles that are right triangles, and I can use the Pythagorean theorem. So we've got all this stuff. Now, yesterday in your online assignment, you guys were like, how do I do this? I'm like, got to go back to 1-1, where I had a straight angle. What does a straight angle equal? 180. So all of these rules that we're using, are they going to build to help us solve other problems? Yes. Now, when I teach you something, we could use it a lot of times, or there may be something else. We may have solved the exact same problem before, but just not with the current rules. So you can use any rule. Yes?
The only thing I didn't understand on that one was the last problem.
Okay. That last problem, you probably needed to break it out into 3 triangles, because there were 3 triangles there, and all that overlapping was probably what your struggle was. So if you haven't submitted it yet, come in IEP today and we'll talk through it. Okay? So yeah, that last question had 3 triangles built on top of each other, right? So you kind of had to really look at what you were supposed to be seeing. So my point being is we can't forget that those other rules are existing. They're there. A straight angle is 180, right? We have an exterior angle of a triangle equals the sum of the 2 opposite interior angles, correct? All those things are still in play. Today we're going to talk about SAS and SSS congruency criteria. So the first one we have is side angle side, so it is SAS. You guys see that? SAS stands for what? Side angle side. And when I say it, it is side angle side as I go around a triangle. It is not side angle. You get what I'm saying? So here's my picture. We're going to look at the picture first. So I have side angle side. That's how every time you do one of these problems, you need to put your pencil at some point and go around the triangle. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, do we see that RS and YX are congruent? How do I know that they're congruent? There's 2 lines, right? And how do I know that S is congruent to Y? There's 1, right? How do I know that ST is congruent to ZY? There's a line, right? So what this says, if side angle side is congruent to side angle side, then the 2 triangles are congruent. Okay? So side angle side congruency says if 2 sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent, to 2, guess what? To 2 what? Sides. And the included angle, and we'll talk about what included means, of another triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. We can't use equal. Objects are congruent, numbers are equal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Objects are congruent, numbers are equal. So if I want to say that M of angle 3, or angle A, is equal to M of angle C, I said M, which means measure, right? But if I leave that M off, I can't say equal, I have to say congruent. It's one of those little things. So, included means the 2 sides make it. The angle is included in the two sides. Does that make sense? So this is a side, angle, side. Do these two sides make up the angle that is congruent? Do they? Yes. So that is called an included angle.
Included or uncluded?
Included.
Yeah, uncluded.
No,
No,
it's
I
just
don't.
the way she has her I and
It's
neck.
half cursive. It's half.
I put a U.
Yeah, that's a you.
It's included. No, it's not. It's cursive.
It just looks a lot like
A U, not with
Well-
a dot.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. So included. So included means what? What does included mean? If I'm included in something, I'm in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
So is T included in my two sides? No. Because my two sides don't make T. It's not in between them. It's not in the mix. So if S wasn't there, if I said that U and Z were congruent, would this work?
No.
No, because it's not side, angle, side. You can't say side, angle, side. It has to be right in a row. I didn't mean to erase that, but oh well, I'll erase it one here. Okay, so down here, we're going to look at our pictures again. See this picture? Okay. If triangle ABC is congruent to triangle XYZ, if that is true, that means that AB, segment AB, is congruent to what? XY. So AB is congruent to XY, those corresponding parts, okay? And it means that BC is congruent to what? YZ. So I put 2 on that one, right? And then AC is congruent to what? XZ. Now, I also wanted to show you, look at the names of those two. I'm going to shut off some lights and see if that helps. Does that help to see a little bit better? If I go thicker with my pen, then it really doesn't. I'll go a little thicker. Okay, if I look at this, you see how these are named? The corresponding parts are named in the same order. So AB, BC, AC. XY, YZ, XZ. Okay, they're all in there together. So angle A also has to be congruent to angle what? X. That would be the corresponding angle, wouldn't it? And angle B, I gotta do 2 lines on angle B, don't I? Is congruent to angle Y. And angle Z, I gotta do 3. There's 3 there. Do it again. Has to be congruent to angle what? C. So, if 2 angles are what? Congruent, or 2 triangles, sorry. If 2 triangles are congruent, then their corresponding
Angle.
sides, or angles, either one. I have sides first. Sides is, then each pair of corresponding sides is congruent, and each pair of corresponding angles. Could I put angles and then sides? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't care which one.
Is
We usually do. It's is. Because it's air. No, it's is because it's. I know. I want R2, but it's not. Okay. We always say sides first because can you have an angle without sides?
No.
No. So you always, what comes first, like the chicken or the egg? Well, what came first, the angle or the sides? The sides had to come first before I had an angle. So that's why we always say sides first. Okay? Example of that is, when you do these, you have to tell me why you know it. Okay? So this picture tells me what? Just looking at the picture, you can even tell me. No, doesn't tell me all that yet. What does it tell me exactly?
AB is parallel.
A,
C or
B,
C.
and,
CD are parallel.
well, they're parallel, but they're also what?
Congruent.
Congruent. Just because they're parallel doesn't tell me anything about, like, their length, right? So I know that, AB is congruent to CD. Even if that wasn't written here, I'd know it from my picture, correct? Okay. What else do I know? They are parallel. That's going to help me out. I need two sides in the included angle to know this is are congruent, correct? Do you have another side?
AD and BC.
Nope, you don't know that. Anybody else? There's one more side.
Oh, A and C,
AC. AC has to be congruent. Why?
because they're
It's
the
right
same
in
line.
the
It's the same line for both of them, right? So on my paper, I write AC is congruent to AC. That is something I have to state. Do I know that AC is congruent to AC?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's the same line. Okay, so I now have two sides, yes. I have this side and this side. So I need an angle. Well, what do I know about two parallel lines and their transversal and all those angles?
They have the same angle, so.
They have, well, I need this angle to be congruent to this angle or this angle to be congruent to this angle. And how do I know that they are?
If you
Two parallel lines and a transversal. What is the relationship between those angles?
There.
Here's my parallel line, yes.
And
And here's my parallel line. No, they are not. Here's my transversal.
I'm taking guesses.
Oh wait,
right?
it's
Should be happy.
corresponding angles.
No, they're not corresponding.
It's same
Transversal.
side interior or something.
No.
Like that. It's one of those things though.
It's one of those things.
Transversal.
Alternate interior. Alternate of the
Oh, yeah.
transversal, correct? Alternate sides of the transversal. Inside of the parallel lines. Corresponding would be out here and here. Yes. Same side interior equal what? 180. Okay. So I know that this angle here and this angle is congruent. Does that help me out?
Yeah.
Does that help me out?
No.
No.
I got a lot of stuff up there. I'm gonna erase more. Now that I got you to see the transversal, I can erase it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know that I've got my two sides, yes?
Yeah.
So I need side angle side. So I need this angle, don't I? And I need side angle side. So I need this angle and this angle. Why would this angle and this angle not help me?
Because it's not
Because you don't know what,
side.
you
I
don't
don't
know
have-
that AD.
Right, I don't have the other side, do I? I just have AC. I don't know that BC is congruent to AD, do I? So I have to have that other angle. And I know that angle BAC is congruent to angle ACB, right? Why? We just said,
Same side.
no, not same side.
Alternate.
Alternate interior angles. I forgot my L. Alt interior
What
angles.
the heck is that?
Alt for alternate. If you need to spell out the whole alternate interior, then do it. Okay, but did I say why I knew that? Okay, so now do I have a side angle side? Yes. So side angle side tells me that those two triangles are congruent. Again, am I going to have to use everything I know?
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Now we also have side, side, side. Well, that is just SSS. So looking at my picture again, it says if AB is congruent to ED, BC is congruent to EF, AC is congruent to DF. How do I know those are all congruent? The lines, right? Then, if all the sides are congruent, then guess what?
All the angles are congruent.
Well, yes. But that's not, what they're just saying the two triangles are congruent. Okay? So if how many sides? 3? If 3 sides of one triangle are congruent, to how many sides? 3 sides of another triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. Okay, so why aren't you writing? Because I'm going to switch this right after I'm done. Okay, so you have your rules. We haven't done a whole lot of examples. The back page is just examples, okay? We have side, angle, side. So 2 sides in what angle? 2 sides in what angle? Side, angle, side. 2 sides in what angle?
Included.
Included, the one between them, right? Or side, side, side. We have those 2 today. So we're going to be using those to decide whether things are congruent or not. We're also going to be thinking about what other information I would need for it to work. Okay, but you can't just tell me you have to tell, like, if it's not obvious on the picture, you have to tell me what other connection you made. Does that make sense? Like on that one example, I said I knew this angle was congruent to this angle because they were alternate interior. So if it's not right there on the picture, you have to tell me what outside information you used. Got it? And we'll model that. So, is this side angle side, side side side, or neither?
Yes.
Side, side,
But,
side.
but one's not equal.
I don't know. Do I trust the picture?
Yes.
No. Do I trust the dimensions of the picture?
No.
No. What am I trusting here? The dashes. The dashes on there and on your paper, I think they're more people. Remember this
Yeah.
stretches? Okay, but I don't trust how it's drawn. I trust the markings they put on there, correct? So, side, side, side. Now what about the next one?
Side, angle, side.
See how I'm just going to go side, angle, side? If I can do that without picking up my pencil, then it's a side, angle, side.
That's a side.
No.
Because it skips over.
It skips over. I have side, side, angle, right?
It would
So it's
Or I
neither.
have side, angle, and then I have to skip to the other side.
So it's neither.
It's neither, because it has to be the angle between the 2 sides, correct?
So what do you want us to
So
put
you
down
write
then?
neither.
Will this be on our homework?
Yep. This is basically your homework.
Is it hard? Well, that's what we're doing now.
I mean, you have to remember your other rules. Okay, so now on the next one. Okay, we're good for side, angle, side?
Yep.
Side, angle, side, side, angle, side.
That one's neither.
That one's neither? Because I'm skipping a side again, aren't I?
Yep. And the last one's side.
How's that one neither?
Because for it to be side, angle, side, I would need this angle or I would need this side.
They're all 3 there.
No,
Yeah,
but
but
they're
see
not
how-
in the pattern. It has to be, you have to have side, angle, side. You have, this is angle, side,
It'd
side.
be like one.
So then why is that one angle side side?
It's not, that's not a rule. It has to be the 2 sides that make, see angle H? In order for this to work, I would need to know that this side and this side, you have to have the 2 sides that make the angle.
And I wonder why we are not writing out angle side side.
You want to write out angle side side? Go for it.
No,
I always
think
say,
that's
guys,
perfectly
There
fine.
is no angle side postulate, only the person who tries to use it. There isn't. There is not an angle side postulate. Okay. Next one. Side, because all the sides are there, right? So it has to follow the rule. The big thing is the angle has to be made with the two sides you're given, correct? If it's not, then it doesn't work. Think about it, you just have to go around the circle. Or
Okay,
circle the
so the
triangle.
ones that are like that on the homework,
Like what?
the ones we just did,
Mhm.
we have to, okay, there won't be ones where it has like the it has like 1-2-3-, but then it also has an angle.
Well, does it matter?
Well,
Because if it has all three, like if I had like this picture like this,
yeah,
like that,
Yeah.
it could be both.
okay, so
So
what
then you-
what would you want us to put on that both?
Just both.
Both.
Okay, I didn't know
They
if you wanted
both-
us to pick one or
No, both of them are there.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if I had, let me see that, because I purposely put that where I did, right?
Mhm.
What if I put it here?
Then it wouldn't.
It
Be.
wouldn't.
would
Then
just
it wouldn't
side,
be
side,
because it's not the same angle.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So be careful that you're not saying it is both if it's not the same angle.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Carter, are you 16?
Carly, does it have
That's a
anything
weird
to do with what
question
we're
to
doing?
ask. Why would
This
you
is
come
kind
up
of
with that?
Okay. So, are the triangles congruent?
No.
If they are, we have to say why. Okay, so we have the only two we have right now.
Why they are.
Okay, the only two we have right now are side, and side, angle, side. Correct? Okay, so we got side.
Neither. It's neither, yeah.
So it's, no,
No.
it is not congruent.
It's not congruent.
No,
Wait,
it's congruent because
Consider it again.
Carly, shut
Okay,
up.
well, okay, they told me angle A and D are congruent. Yes.
Yeah.
Do I know anything else about this picture?
you
Because
know,
there's
B and A and D and E are congruent.
Wait,
You know, B
yeah, because A
and
and B is
D
congruent to.
And then
D
that
and
would
E.
also, no, we don't know.
what do I know about this angle here?
It's the vertical.
They're
angle.
vertical angles, so are they congruent?
Yes.
Yes. So if two angles in a triangle are congruent, what do you know about the third?
It's congruent.
It has to be congruent, doesn't it? So if two angles, oh, I love writing up there, are congruent, then three angles are congruent, right?
What's the first half say?
If
Two.
two.
Okay.
Well, we have to write this on our homework.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you have to tell me your reasoning. If two angles in a triangle are congruent, why does the third one have to be congruent?
Because two angles are.
Because it all has to add up to what every single time?
180.
180. And if I know I have 100 here and 100 here, then there's only 80 on the other ones, right? So if two angles are congruent, the third one has to be congruent. So this has to be congruent, yes? Now on your homework, you can't write in your book, so then you would say angle B is congruent to angle E, right?
No, it would be angle D.
B, I said B. Angle B is congruent to
Oh.
angle E. So if angle B is congruent to angle E, we now have what? Side, angle,
Side.
side. So it is. It looked at first off, it wasn't, but knowing our other rules, is it? Yes. Okay, so here's one.
So we
Now
don't
it
have-
tells me, just a second, it tells me two sides are congruent, yes? So I have side angle side or side. It can't even possibly be side angle side because it doesn't tell me any of them parallel or anything, so I don't have that option, right? So do I have a side?
Yeah, because of LN.
Right. So I'm gonna put on here, ln is congruent to what?
Oh,
ln So therefore, it is what? Side, side. And I had to say that because does my picture tell me that LN is congruent to LN?
No,
No. But do I know it?
yeah.
Yeah. So I have to write what I know that the picture doesn't tell me. Well, it doesn't like mark it, I guess I should say. Okay. Well, is this connection line gonna do me any good?
No.
No. So just pretend they're not connected. Okay? If they were like this, the one over here would be vertical angles, but this one isn't. So this in here doesn't exist, right? So I've got a side, and I don't have a third side, so I probably need to find an angle. What specific angle do I need to be looking at?
X and U.
W and
T.
T. I should really write this in a different color so you know what I wrote, right? Okay, so I need W and T. I need to make sure that those are congruent for this to work. So what does my picture tell me?
Well, okay, so S and T and W and V are parallel.
Okay, yes, this tells me it's parallel, yes? So I can extend this, and I can extend this. So if those are
Oh,
parallel,
That's
this is
transversal.
transversal, correct?
So they could be
Interior,
no, it'd be
They're
alternate interior.
Alternate interior angles again, right?
So you
So
put
angle W is congruent to what?
Angle T.
Angle T because of alternate interior angles. Angles. We have used that abbreviation before, correct? So I now have what? Side, angle, side. So some of them are going to be straightforward, other ones you have to look a little further, okay? What additional information is needed to show the triangles are congruent?
Well, we need A and C. We need to know that's congruent, or we need to know B, C, and A.
I would say BC or AC for the side.
There's the fewest things.
Okay, so then it would be AC, and then we need FD.
We would need to know that AC was congruent to FD for this to be a side, angle, side. Now, Cole was saying, oh, we could know all the sides were equal, but that would be two extra things, right?
But it's still a possibility.
Right, it's still a possibility. We want to look for the fewest, okay? So if I only knew that AC was congruent to FD, I'd be great for side, angle, side, wouldn't I? Okay? So I need to know that, so on my paper I would write AC is congruent to what?
To FD.
Oh, DF. Alphabetical.
Wow, cool.
Okay, that's
Wonder
okay.
alphabet.
When you're smart.
Okay, what about this one?
Well, you would need.
Dude, it's just side,
actually,
angle, side
I
already.
see you're congruent.
Do I need any other
No.
information?
No.
No. No other information is needed, is it?
No.
No other info. And so it is what?
Side angle.
Side, angle,